Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Richard, Grannon and Friends. I'm joined today by Amy Harris. Hello, Amy. Thanks for coming
Hi,
in.
Richard. It's a pleasure. Yeah, good. Thank you.
You're nervous?
Yeah, a little bit.
You'll do fine. You'll do fine. Let's start with the easiest stuff. Where are you from?
Oh gosh, that's not easy.
that's where the trauma
That's bullying
begins.
me. I'm from Luton. I was raised in Luton.
God have mercy on you. You and Andrew Tate both.
Yeah. I know Andrew Tate. We went to college, so
You went to the same college, right?
yeah.
And did you know Andrew at college?
Yeah.
Was he a nice chap?
He's nice. Yeah, he's
Without the Bugattis, was he nicer? I'm sure he's a nice guy. There's a psychologist I'm speaking to tomorrow who's just interviewed him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did a psychotherapist did quite a long interview with him. It's a good interview. I like Andrew.
Yeah, so. I'm sure there's a lot of people that want to pick his brain and
see what's going on.
Yeah.
So you were traumatized in a similar way to Andrew was by living in Luton. What age did you live in Luton up until?
Oh gosh, early 20s. I was
20s.
in Luton, yeah. Then I moved out. That was my goal, as quickly as possible. Not that there's anything wrong with Luton, but everyone wants to leave their hometown, right?
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is, Amy.
Nothing to do with Luton.
Luton's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. There's another chap from Luton. I'm trying to speak to Tommy Robinson. I'm eventually going to have a chat with him. What was it like growing up in Luton?
It was fine. Like, it's all we know, isn't it, when we grow up? We don't know any different. My childhood was good. It was fine. And even my teenage years, you don't know any different. So maybe if someone lived maybe in a different area and then came to Luton, they're no different. But it was fine. Yeah.
I lived in a different area and I came to Luton. I went, what the fuck? What's this? What's going on? Who let this happen and why? Send them to my office immediately. When I take over and I have a benevolent dictatorship, there will be questions that I'll be asking.
It's not that bad.
But I'll do Birkenhead first. Oh, you've not seen, this is your first time in Liverpool, isn't it?
It is my first time in Liverpool,
so
yeah.
you've not seen the many wonders of where I'm from, Birkenheadshire.
What's that like?
It's had issues. We still have scurvy.
Builds character though, right?
And we have like medieval diseases there still that have been cured centuries ago and we still have them. Yes, it builds character. Wonderful, wonderful place. Please don't stab me if you see me at the shops. So you said you were at college. What were you studying at college?
Media and performing arts.
Wow.
Yeah.
So were you singing?
More acting side of stuff.
The acting. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why I'd done performing arts at college.
What was your aspiration?
It was more to get into the media side of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was thinking because I'm not overly talented as an actor or a singer. Maybe I thought they could transform me if I went there.
Yeah, that's what they should do. They should make you wonderful. When you say the media side of things, what was it? Were you hoping to go into journalism or film? Or?
Yeah, more the film aspects of stuff.
You wanted to do film?
Yeah, that was really interesting. I did enjoy it. It was really good, actually.
So you were doing acting there?
Yeah.
That wasn't what Andrew was doing there?
I don't know what subjects Andrew was doing.
You were at the same college, but he wasn't doing acting with you?
No, we worked at the market together. So he was working on the fishmongers and I worked in a children's school uniform still.
Oh, really?
When we were in college.
Which market was that?
In Luton Market.
Luton Market you worked at? How many years did you do at Luton Market?
I worked there from the age of about 14 to 17.
Good formative experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, and we're going to come to talking about marketing a little bit later on, but working in a market really does help, I think, for people's business acumen. Yes. Okay. Yes, everybody who does business of any kind should. I worked in a market selling computers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a very long time ago. Birkenhead market. But it really helps. Like
really?
The way I do business strategy now is still informed by that experience. So you were selling children's uniforms.
Yeah.
And Andrew was doing fish.
Yeah.
Lovely. Selling a bit of fish, which was a formative experience for him.
I think that's what built him.
That's what built him.
100%.
Selling fish at Luton Market. So you did that for 3 years and then you wanted to enter into the media. What age did you finish college?
Around 18.
18.
Yeah.
And then what did you do after that?
I worked in Harrods in London for a few years.
So were you living in London?
No, I was traveling back and forth.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can, can't you? Luton to London. How long does that take?
About an hour.
Oh,
it wasn't.
okay.
It was very busy though. It was heat of the summer and stuff like that. But that's what I'd done after that.
What was it like working in Harrods?
It was interesting.
Yeah.
It was interesting. It was good. You saw a different way of life. Like people would pick up a £5,000 little top and not even look at the price tag. So
yeah. So you're Harrods, for the American audience, I don't think they have it in America. It's a high-end sort of shopping mall, I guess they would call it.
Yeah.
Owned by Mr. Al Fayed. Is he Dodi or
Dodi? I'm not sure.
What's the? I think Dodi's the son. What's the father called? Mohammed Al Fayed is the dad. Dodi's the son, and wildly successful. By all accounts. Yeah. So how many years did you do in Harrods?
2 years, I think I was there for. Nice. Yeah.
What did you do next?
I had my son unexpectedly. And then I worked in finance from home for a long time.
What after the pregnancy, you were working from home?
Yeah, in finance. I'd done that for a few years, and then I started opening my own beauty business.
Nice.
Yeah, but that was more like money-driven beauty business, and then but I was helping people with their nutrition and fitness along the way, just helping people because I'd studied it for myself to help myself. And so it gradually, accidentally, I suppose, turned into a business. In that sense.
you had two small businesses that you were running at the same time.
Yeah.
And fitness ended up being the one that took over.
Yeah, I never really saw it as a business. I saw it as just helping people because I'd had to help myself after struggling with food for a long time. So I kind of studied nutrition to help myself. Because I suppose when you struggle with food, I thought if I have the knowledge behind it, I can reason with myself and get myself out of a certain mindset. So I studied it for myself, and then everyone kind of just knew me as Fitness Amy. And then I'd ask for advice and help. And then along the way, I'd helped a certain amount of people. They really transformed, and then their friends, family, colleagues would get in contact.
So it was a word of mouth.
It just grew. Yeah.
Do you mind if we go back? You said you struggled. You struggled with food.
Yeah.
Don't make me cry. Because you've seen me cry in another interview about this thing.
Gosh, not like that. Bless her, she was amazing.
What age did you start to have problems with food?
From around the age of 13, 14, I think.
Okay.
I remember when I used to eat a lot as a kid. Like I used to eat loads, and my aunties used to say to me, "You wait till you hit puberty. That'll catch up. Like you'll regret that." And they used to call me Ribs as a nickname because I'd like be so tiny and just eat loads of food. And then obviously your body does start changing, doesn't it? And this was around the time that like Cheryl Cole and Victoria Beckham were very much in the media, and it was all about looking a certain way. And I think, I just didn't see gaining what I would normally, when I look back now, I was just a normal teenager, normal slim teenager, I was lucky enough. And I just saw myself as big and overweight, and I tried to fight against that. And then slowly, I just stopped eating over a period of time.
So from 13, you started restricting your food?
Yeah.
How did you begin? Did you start cutting out certain foods, or did you just restrict food overall?
Restrict food, just eat less, definitely, and just train a lot. Just train constantly.
What kind of training were you doing?
Ab workouts, running, that sort of stuff. Anything to just keep my body active. I didn't really know what I was doing. I just thought if I exercise a lot, because there's a lot of mixed information in the media, isn't it? And
there's a lot of mixed information within personal training.
Oh yeah,
which we'll get into.
Yeah.
So the mixed information in the media. What information were you receiving that created this kind of a confusion?
I suppose at the time it was this diet, that diet. You need to look this way. You need to look that way. And then you'd see someone who's as tiny as like Victoria Beckham, and they didn't put her down for her weight. So it was everything. It was just typical diets, like a keto diet. You have to cut out this, you have to cut out that. And in the end, I just pretty much just restricted so much. I remember there was one time that I had a banana split over 2 days, and I'd punished myself because I'd eaten that.
You had half a banana on
half
one
a banana
day.
and half a banana the next
half
day.
Banana the next day. And the self-punishment was through training? Or just like you're berating yourself?
Yeah. With everything. I mean, I would set a target not to eat for a certain amount of time. And then if I was to eat, I'd feel bad about it.
So you would say, I'm not going to eat now for...
a couple of days, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like 10 hours or something.
Yeah, no.
2 days.
No. Yeah.
But you broke and ate half a banana.
Yeah. Which is like, it's mad to think that now, like where I am now, to think that. But yeah, that's what I thought you had to do. You had to starve yourself in order to look a certain way.
And do you think, looking back, I know the period of time you're talking about where Victoria Beckham was getting a lot of exposure. So there's a lot of images of her in the media.
Yeah.
We know from the psychology research, this is extremely damaging to one group, girls between the age of 10 and 17. Seeing images of very, very slim women.
Yeah.
The research that I read said initially they'll be happy. So if when we explore it on social media, young girls in that age group will like the picture and they'll feel good that somebody looks that way.
Yeah.
And then 2 or 3 minutes later, they become depressed.
Really?
Yeah. So there's an initial endorphin rush.
Yeah.
And they really like to see that. And then there's an aftermath. It's like a cocaine high and then a cocaine low.
Yeah.
Then they start to get depressed.
Yeah, because this is it seems so unachievable. And it is in a way, because photos on there are so airbrushed. They're in, their best poses. And I think that's why with what I do now, that's the biggest thing for me is helping us, we're all normal people. We all sit at home in our worst states, and you look at Instagram and someone looks amazing. And then we relate ourselves to that, and it's not great. And then we start feeling bad about ourselves and think we should be different, we should be better. Where really and truly, everyone's good enough and we're all unique in our own way, right? We shouldn't be trying to obtain a false image like that.
Do you think that, in your opinion as a trainer, do you think that Victoria Beckham was struggling herself with an eating disorder?
Massively, yeah. She must be in the public eye like that as well. You can see just by looking at her size and her build at the time. And even now, she doesn't strike me as an overly confident woman in terms of like the way she carries herself and stuff like that. It must be so much pressure being in the media like that, and always under the spotlight and criticised for the way you look all the time. And if she was to gain a few pounds, it's in the press.
Was it really?
Yeah. I mean, it's not so bad now. I suppose you've got the social media side of stuff, but back then it was very much about women's weight. And
so when is this? This is like the early 2000s, right?
Yeah.
Around that sort of a time. I remember when she was in the press a lot, and Cheryl Cole as well.
Yeah.
Girls Aloud.
Yeah.
And I can imagine for that, these are girls who are in these prefab girl bands that were really popular then, for people who don't know. These are sort of British celebrities if you're American. Most people know Victoria Beckham. They might not know Cheryl Cole.
Yeah.
They're all very thin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Her other bandmate, is it Jerry Halliwell?
Yeah.
She got very, very, very low body fat.
Yeah,
eventually.
she did at one point, didn't she? Yeah. She went, yeah.
So did anybody notice that you were underweight?
Yeah, they did. And they noticed I wasn't eating. So then I'd make a point of eating at certain occasions, but then planning in my own mind that I'd be sick, how I'd be sick and how I wouldn't eat days after, or take loads of laxatives. Like I just really abused my body at the time. So yeah, no, they did. My family tried to speak to me about it, particular family members, but you hide it. It's a very, very secretive thing. And also you think other people are crazy. I remember looking at other people like, you're eating food? That's so crazy. Do you not care?
Do you want to do that for?
Yeah.
Do you know what that's doing to you? You're eating, really?
Yeah, it's crazy. Your mind is just not in a clear place, which is good now because I do help people who are struggling with food and I can relate to it. So it's not a matter of saying, I suppose if someone's scared of flying and someone's just saying, well, just get on the plane, it'll be safe, it'll be fine. It's not as easy as that. And that's the same with food. If someone will just eat, you'll be fine. You've built up a fear factor in your head So when I get clients like that, I don't just dismiss it. You have to take them through a process of reassurance until they get to a point where they can eat a little bit more and feel comfortable with it and realize all these fears that they've had, nothing happened. They're okay.
Right.
And then the next stage and the next stage. So that's really nice. I enjoy that aspect of helping someone through that process and seeing them get to the other side of it.
How many years did it go on for you?
About 10 years, I think.
10 years of eating disorder.
Yeah, it never goes though. I don't think it ever goes, completely disappears. You just reason with yourself and you have knowledge. I'm in a really good place now, but, like people will say, I felt this way, but now magically I never feel like that again. But you just never know, right? Like, so there's always something there. You have to reason with yourself, and knowledge helps that a lot.
Did you ever get therapy for it?
No, I didn't. No.
You just went through it yourself?
Yeah.
Did you ever get sick from it?
No, not drastically, but I'd have like my periods had stopped and I'd have like fluff on my back from like stuff like that. So yes, I did, but not to the point where I got any treatment or anything like that. I was very fortunate.
So when did you start to come out of that cycle? You think like 23, 24?
Yeah, when I started learning and studying, I just knew I had to make a change. Like it's obsessive and it'd take over your thought process all the time. And I knew it wasn't healthy. I knew it wasn't right. So I just started educating myself. If I can reason with myself, then I can break free from it.
Okay.
And then even that's a process. It doesn't just happen overnight. Even though if you know something is right for you or wrong for you, it's still a process of getting through it.
So when you're reasoning with yourself, you're reasoning with the impulse to restrict the food.
Yeah.
So there's one Amy that's saying, don't eat.
Yeah.
You want to be thinner.
Yeah.
And then another Amy is saying, it's okay to eat. What would you say? Would you be saying to yourself, it's okay to eat these foods?
Yeah. Usually it'd be like the typical no carbohydrates and things like that. So I understand why people cut out all these food groups. There was a turning point for me. I went on holiday and I'd cut everything out and I was doing loads of cardio and I was eating really low food. Like by that time it was like 800, 1,000 calories. And my body, I was slimmer, but my body I wasn't getting the toned look that I'd see on Instagram or social media. And I was like, why do I look like that? And I was like, well, I'm clearly not doing something right. So I need to give something a proper chance. And then I did, and I was dieting on 2,500 calories and my body looked fantastic, the best it's ever looked. And it was a breakthrough of you can eat, just eat to fuel. And I just want everyone to feel that.
What age were you when you found you could have 2,500 calories and look great?
My late 20s.
Late 20s?
Yeah, like mid 20s to 8 20s was around that time.
And what kind of training were you doing? Lots of Zumba?
Weight training. No cardio.
What? You're joking, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's calories in versus calories out. So I have to do running to burn off the fat.
Yeah,
Is that not right?
No, not particularly.
So if you want to look good, you have to lift weights.
You don't have to lift weights. If you want a certain look, then yeah, absolutely. I'd encourage lifting weights, weight training.
Amy, I don't want to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Do you ever get people say that to you?
I can't promise that all the time. It's so difficult to gain weight as a woman. And women are like, I'm just starting out the gym, but I don't want to look like Arnold. But like in 3 months later, they're going to come pumped.
Don't worry, that won't happen. There's a thing, I do not have a female friend that I've trained with that I haven't said to them at some point, you are not lifting enough weight.
Yeah.
I don't have one. And
really?
Any of my female friends will say, I just said it to my sister when she was over here.
Really?
They train a lot. I know girls who train a lot and they lift weights. And then I'll go to the gym. And these are girls who've been training for like more than 4 or 5 years with weights. And they'll pick up some silly little weight and go like this. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Make it heavier for the love of God. And then they all have said the same thing to me. I don't want to get too bulky.
Yeah.
I'm like, you won't.
But saying that, women say, I don't want to get too bulky. But then when they join, or you get a questionnaire and application, you have a conversation with them, their first request is to be toned. Okay, so what is toned then? And then obviously it's losing body fat, so that muscle's pushing against the skin. So, and in order, when you're in a deficit anyway, you're going to risk losing some body fat if you're just doing excessive cardio and eating low food all the time. So if you want that toned look, weight training is going to be great for that.
You said a toned look. Please listen, everyone. Is when you can see the muscle pushing against the skin. So the body fat has gone down.
Yeah.
And the muscle is actually bigger.
Yeah.
And more full.
Full, yeah.
Which requires glycogen storage.
Yeah.
Which requires calories.
Yeah.
Mind blowing. There's a tremendous amount of confusion, isn't there, around
Oh
this?
my gosh. Like, I have conversations every single day about it. Like, I mean, there's things in the media at the moment about some guy putting things out, don't eat broccoli because it's going to make you fat.
Good luck getting fat on fucking broccoli.
People put, like someone's mentioned to me the other day, I'm not doing HIIT training because I don't want my cortisol levels to go up. And it's just so much confusion in the media on Instagram. And then you go from one post that says one thing and you scroll down and another post will be completely contradicting that. And no one knows what to do. And and really and truly, it's usually because it's a money-making game, and the best thing to do is confuse people or put fear into people. And that's so sad because psychologically that's never going to be good. But yeah, so I think more than anything, it's about you need the knowledge to...
Social media rewards troll posts.
Yeah, massively.
So don't eat broccoli. Broccoli makes you fat.
Yeah.
1 million views and 10,000 replies saying, it's fucking nonsense, that is. Which increases the post gravity massively.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we could release a YouTube video tomorrow saying just the title, broccoli makes you fat.
Yeah, should we do it? Start the podcast again.
Just line people up. Broccoli
Let's go for cauliflower.
I had a friend, he was indoctrinated into some strength training called, I can't remember which one it was. And he was saying to me, a calorie is a calorie. And 1,000 calories of broccoli is the same as 1,000 calories of Mars bar. And I was like, but how is that going to pass through your system, my dear fellow?
Yeah.
And what's your body supposed to do with it?
Yeah, exactly.
We can't claim that it's going to have the same impact.
Yeah.
Obviously, a calorie is a calorie.
Yeah.
But if it's fibrous and watery, that calorie might not hang around in your system.
Yeah, exactly.
Like 1,000 calories worth of broccoli, we won't see much of you for the rest of the day. Whereas 1,000 calories of chocolate cake is pretty easy to eat.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And then you'll give people a diet and it's full of clean food. Now, this is so much food. Yes. And I'm like, you could eat that, but if you eat a chocolate bar and a muffin maybe in the day, you don't think it is.
What's that called? I wanted to say like condensed calories. What is it called? Like calorie dense.
Calorie dense, yeah. Calorie dense food. So people would eat that without thinking, or even just a latte. Like when you go out and see some of the coffees in the shops, they won't realise.
Cheeky 350 calories.
Yeah, if you're lucky. Sometimes they're crazy.
And your body can't build amazing quads with it.
No.
Body's like, what?
What do I do with this?
What's this? Send it to my quads. Which part of this latte do you think I'm going to build muscle with, dear? So people say to you, I want to be toned, but they have, so there's almost like extremely superstitious, prejudicial thinking around foods and training as well.
Yeah. It's just confusion, isn't it?
Big confusion.
It's just massive confusion out there. And I think it's intentional in a lot of ways as well.
This is.
Yeah, to make money. And it's like, I don't want to mention any names or something, but there's certain diets out there that get people to come in the evening, weigh with all their clothes on after they've eaten a bunch of food and then punish someone if they've put on a pound or two. And it's...
They're weighing people in the evening?
Yeah. So they'll go after a full day of eating. They'll
it's a Slimming World or something.
Yeah, Slimming World, Weight Watchers sort of thing.
I've always wondered about this, Slimming World and Weight Watchers. Yeah. I know people who said that they made progress with that, so that's good. Yeah. Good for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're the expert here. Why do we not weigh ourselves in the evening with clothes on?
Because it's just not accurate at all. Like if we've eaten all day and we've got our clothes on. I mean, I had one of my clients this morning, he takes ice baths in the morning. I said, do me a favor, weigh before the ice bath and after. So he weighed before and he weighed after and he had lost 2 kg after. on
2
the scale.
kg?
On the scales.
How long was he in the ice bath
I think
for?
he hadn't slept.
Stop,
yeah, no,
Matty.
yeah. And I was just like, see, and so when I do cardio, if I wake up and weigh myself and then I do cardio and then come back and weigh myself off, the weight goes up slightly, a couple of pounds.
Yeah.
You know,
because you've necked a load of water.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And other people will come off because they sweat so much, they'll drop.
Yeah.
So you're never going to know your, even when we wake up in the morning and we do all the right things, it's as close to our true weight as we can possibly get.
Yes.
Yeah, there's so many factors to take into account.
How much can clothing weigh?
Oh gosh, it depends.
See, I've got these massive boots on. Look at these. These are Bugattis, actually. These genuinely are called Bugattis. And I don't know what these would weigh, but probably all my clothing is probably worth a couple of kilograms.
Yeah.
And then if you eat, well, I walk around at 94 kilograms, I can easily like 4 kilograms worth of food.
Yeah.
So during the day, I've eaten 4 kilograms worth of food. Then I sleep.
Yeah.
Something magical happens in the sleep.
Yeah.
2.5 kilograms disappears.
It's amazing,
the fairies
isn't it?
come in the night and they take it away. So for you, for people who are watching or interested in it, weighing yourself at the end of the day, waste of time.
Absolutely.
Weighing yourself with your clothes on like they do at the doctors is just bonkers.
Yeah.
You have to be naked. It should be in the morning. And you should go to the bathroom first
Yeah.
if you want to know your true
as
mass.
close to your true weight as
close
possible.
as,
Yeah. Because then you've got your hormones, how much you've slept, take into account. You've got all that. But yeah, it's...
Why does sleep matter? What would happen if I slept more? I know the answer.
You can't sleep like 15 hours and then...
but say if so the difference between me sleeping 5 hours and 8 hours, are you saying I'd be lighter after 8 hours?
Obviously dependent. There's so many factors to take into account. But the better the sleep. Sometimes someone will wake up at 5 and then they'll lay in bed for a couple of hours and they'll weigh themselves again and they've gone down because they've just had a longer time period between.
Metabolism, isn't it?
Yeah, and they've relaxed, yeah.
So as far as like the food myths go, what's the biggest one that you would want people to drop?
Oh gosh, there's so many.
Biggest ones, your top 3 then.
Carbs are obviously a massive one. People are so scared of that. I hear that all the time.
Why are people scared of carbs? What's happened with carbohydrates in the last 20 years now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's massively in the press all the time. It's everywhere. And when people do cut out carbs, they notice a massive drop in the scales. But that's because of glycogen, right? And we will drop more water if we don't eat carbohydrates. So for example, I'll have a client who maybe is depleted on lower carbs and I'll give them a refeed on higher carbs. And I want to see their weight go up. Like I want to see that response from their body. Yeah. And I have to explain that to them and it just blows their mind. Like, why would you want that scale to go up? Because you're refilling your body up. You've depleted your body. It's not all body fat that you're getting on the scales with. So carbs have their, like everything, they have their pros and cons. And that you just have them at the right times, the right amounts. They're amazing. They're amazing.
You have to have them.
Yeah. You don't have to have them to survive. You can live your life without carbohydrates, but to be optimal, yeah, absolutely. You
can live your life without eating carbohydrates. That's because your body can turn, is it protein into carbs if it needs to?
Yeah, you can. You need your proteins, obviously, for your amino acids, and you need your essential fats for your health. Carbohydrates, you don't need them to survive.
A carb can't become a protein, but a protein can become a carb, basically. Yeah. So you'll restrict carbs sometimes with people. If you need something specific from their body, you will restrict it.
Yeah, I mean, every client of mine, I coach them on a one-to-one basis. So I'm always looking for a response from them. So it's not like a set diet plan that I send to everyone. It's all about response. And if there is a time, because if someone comes to me for a period of time and they've got a physique goal, then I'm going to approach it in a certain way and do what their body needs to do to get there. So there may be a period of time that I cut it out, but then it will be to refill it again. Yeah. Everyone's different.
When you're saying physique goals, that isn't a weight scale goal.
No.
That's a looking in the mirror goal.
Yeah.
Or looking on stage goal.
Yeah.
So for people listening, they need to understand that like the scale's important and it's data, but it's not the whole story.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Some people will just send me their weight and I need to see photos of you. I need to see photos because I see so much in a photo. Because your weight could stay the same when I look at your photos. I'm like, you clearly dropped body fat. So the scales kind of then become irrelevant in that sense. It's just information to see how your body's responding. Yeah, and that might be that, okay, so your weight stayed the same or gone up and you look better in your photos. Let's have more food today. Yeah. But if they just sent me the weight, how am I going to see that? So it's all information and feedback.
What's another food thing that persists that you can't stop people from?
Oh gosh, there's so many. Apple cider vinegar is one of them. People message me and they'll say, well, I've just kept their diet the same and they want to lose it, but I've introduced apple cider vinegar, so that's supposed to burn fat. I'm like, that's just not how it works. I hear it all the time.
Fuck? I'm still eating burgers at McDonald's for my breakfast and then KFC, but I have a little bit of apple cider vinegar. So
it's so true.
I reckon I'll be all right.
Yeah.
What's the... Okay. I suppose it's easy to satirize it. Why would an adult human who's otherwise reasonable in every area of their life think that?
Yeah, this blows my mind. It is like there's no reasoning. Like when you speak logic, it's like it goes over their head sometimes. Like I'll get people say, well, I've eaten this then, I've eaten this for 2 days. They'll message me on Instagram. And I'm like, but because you've had a smoothie, I don't know what you're doing the rest of the time. Like, it's like there's and that's what it is. There's just so much confusion out there that logic has totally gone out the window. And also people always, you want quick results. So like, how can I do this just quickly? And they want a magic answer rather than look at their habits, look at their self, look at their lifestyle, because that takes accountability a lot of the time and hard work to face that. They'd rather just know that there's a secret out there that they're missing.
Yes. I do know of a secret, and there is something you can take that will burn fat. It's called meth. So if you develop a healthy old...
I'll add that to the plans.
Crack habit. I'm really losing a lot of fat here. I'm ripped. I've got no fucking teeth, but I'm fucking ripped. The apple cider vinegar one, where does apple cider vinegar fit into a plan, if at all?
The only time I'd recommend it is pH balance in the gut, with the gut lining, and that's it. Not ever for fat loss would I recommend apple cider vinegar.
What can I eat for fat loss?
Anything you like if you're in a deficit.
See, it's almost as though the laws of thermodynamics are unbreakable, and they apply in the human body as they would anywhere else in reality.
Yeah. I think calories in, calories out then confuses people a lot.
My God.
Yeah, I think like they're like, well, how do I know then that if I'm in a calorie deficit? And then they'll go on an online calculator or something, and that doesn't work. So
I'm not a fitness coach. I used to teach martial arts, and some of the frustration I see in my friends who are fitness coaches, it reminds me of how frustrated I would get trying to teach, because we were doing reality-based self-defense. It's not fantasy-based self-defense. There's stuff that's going to work and stuff that there isn't. And you could get very reasonable people who are reasonable in every area of their lives, and as soon as it was martial arts, all of it would go out the window.
Really?
Oh my God.
Why? What aspect?
You would think that the laws of physics just don't apply in a fight. So you get guys, and I can name names because a lot of people are dead now and it doesn't matter. And they can't fight anyway, so there's nothing they can do. There was a thing. So in America, if you want to learn how to shoot, you go to Americans. Brits, what are we going to? We don't use guns, or there's only very few people who use guns. Soldiers, armed police. That's it. Yeah. But there's people in America who have a lot of real world experience with tactical shooting. So you get guys who are like ex-SWAT, ex-Navy SEALs, ex-commandos, and then they have a lot of real world experience with shooting weapons. Yeah. And then you do the unarmed stuff. And there's guys doing something called target focus training. I named names. Garbage. Just nonsense.
Really?
Pulled out of someone's bottom hole that if you looked at and you were like, use your brain, like, of course. It was the kind of martial arts, I won't bore people with martial arts, but you see people doing really weird, flowery stuff.
Yeah.
And the partner just so the sensei goes, attack me. And then the sparring partner goes, hiya. like this with a vertical fisted punch with nothing behind it. And then the sensei goes, and does amazing things. And then their partner falls down and goes, oh, you have defeated me. Great sensei. Oh, you beated me there. Definitely. And you're just thinking, yeah, of course, because you fucking let him do that. Yeah. If your opponent was actually attacking you, none of that's going to work.
Yeah.
But because I think there was like this adherence to culture, because other guys who are high ranking rated the system, all these guys who have loads of real world experience, but not with brawling.
Yeah.
And so there's more. Eventually there was a period, I'm talking like 2008, 2009, and the biggest names in the industry for reality-based self-defense were Canadians and Brits.
Oh, really?
So the Americans were coming to us.
Yeah.
Because they don't fight as much. It's not normal. So if somebody fronts you in a bar and says you're a prick, the guy could go to his car and come back with a gun.
Oh, gosh.
So you don't, but Canada doesn't do that.
Yeah.
So they have ice hockey. They'll just headbutt and punch each other in bars. Brits will do it. Aussies as well. There were loads of Aussies in it. So they were coming to us. It got to the point, this is my little flex, the United States Air Marshals Training Center in Las Vegas, this is post 9/11, so it was important.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to fire pistols on planes because the captain of the plane doesn't enjoy that.
Yeah.
And the passengers don't enjoy it either. They were coming to me.
Yeah.
And they were like, we're doing live training scenarios. What should we do? All of this to say that like very reasonable adult people with experience in a field can still be tricked, because it's like, it's almost like a cult mentality. I don't do fitness training, but I have gone online and spoken about food. I used to be very into fasting, and I got very good results with intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
Back in the days when I used to use Facebook, which I don't, and I'd post about it. And my personal training mates would get hashtag triggered. They'd be really upset.
Why?
I don't know. I was
Really?
like, all I'm saying is like 16-hour fasts have worked for me.
Yeah.
I was one of these people who got great newbie gains off 16-hour fasts. Apparently your adrenal glands adapt to it across time, and you'll never get the same effect you do the first time. But they get really upset about it because it was their thing. Like, that's not a fast. Oh, it's called an intermittent fast. It's not a real fast. All right, babe. Like, calm down. It's a 16-hour fast. I'm not eating food. No, a real fast requires that. So you get this like cult thinking. And I think that's what you in the fitness industry, all of you who work in it, God bless you for your patience. That's what you run up against, is like cult mindsets.
Cult thinking, exactly what you said. I think if that worked for you, why should anyone say different? All you're saying is something that's worked for you.
It was honestly personal. I didn't have a product to sell. I wasn't like, I'm a coach now.
Yeah.
I was 30. What had happened was I was living in Malaysia. I was 33 and I was very fat. I was like 30% body fat.
Yeah.
Did I just like called the warrior diet or something. You did light cardio in the morning on an empty stomach. That doesn't work. All right, calm down. Light cardio in the morning on an empty stomach, 16-hour fast. You have you have an 8-hour eating window, and then you do your weights at night. You don't kill yourself in the morning. You don't kill yourself at night, and you train 5 days a week, and the other 2 days you walk. And I lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
What could it possibly have been?
Yeah.
You know, it was calorie restriction. Training, and I look good. You know, I got into good shape in 3 months.
You weren't being unhealthy doing it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So
Right.
there's nothing to say bad against it.
But it was the fact that I had mentioned it was their sacred cow.
Yeah.
You know, I was in their space.
Yeah.
And you mustn't do that. And I think there's a lot with food. I think there's a lot of emotional attachment to it.
Absolutely. And then also, like, if someone stands for something, they're very firm in that. So if you go online and I don't know, you want to believe in the vegan diet, that's going to be the best, most healthiest thing out there for you to possibly do, then you're going to go online, you're going to find things that are in favor of that.
Oh, like an affirmation bias. Kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I wonder how anybody could convince themselves that being vegan is the healthiest thing to do. He said. It might be the most morally responsible thing to do if you love animals, but the healthiest would be hard to...
It's personal preference as well, isn't it? Like if someone goes vegan, they feel great vegan. I mean, I would talk to them about yeah, give me chicken.
Sorry, what were you saying?
If that's their preference and they want to do it, I'd talk to them about their whys and then educate them so they can make a clear decision rather than just see something online and think this is the only thing that's going to work, is the best thing in the world. But if that's their preference and they feel good, then go for it. As long as you're getting the right nutrients that you need and you're making the results you want. But yeah, it's just like with fasting, the same thing. Online, if you were to go and look for something that backed up fasting, you're going to find it. Carnivore, you're going to find it.
I think the thing that they thought, maybe what they thought I was saying is fasting is magical.
Yeah.
And I wasn't saying that. I just I'm sure it's called the warrior diet or something like that.
Yeah.
And if I've got it wrong, I do apologize. It got me a result.
Yeah.
But what was it that got me the result? I probably was doing slightly more energy output across time. I was lifting weights and I restricted the calories. And because I was restricting the calories, I started tracking calories.
Yeah, exactly. You probably lost weight. If you ate across a period of time the same food, you'd have had the same results. It's just that fasting during that period worked for you. And I do believe fasting is good for your health overall, definitely.
I got good health benefits from it.
Yeah.
I got really, really good health benefits from it. Maybe other people wouldn't, but yeah. If you just accounted for the amount of food I ended up eating and just made me eat that with no fast.
And you probably gone from eating crap to eating well as well.
I really did. Because I was like, so you don't go to bed hungry, but the first 5 hours of the day, you're aware there's no food inside of you. You can have black coffee.
Yeah.
So then you're slightly giddy and high off the coffee. So then you start feeling a bit endorphin-y anyway. Yeah. And then when you break your fast, I was tracking calories as well, because I only had 8 hours to eat. It had to be around my training as well. I wanted to hit my protein goals, and it's structured. It's structured. It's an eating structure. I think that's what it was doing. It was an eating structure.
And it worked for you. Maybe if you were eating across the day, you wouldn't have been able to eat in a deficit so easily.
I wonder for some of these things, if there's a personality and a genetic component. I feel good just with no food in the morning.
Yeah.
There are other people who want to throw up. I like to train on no food.
Yeah.
I feel great.
I wake up thinking about food.
Do you really?
I love the breakfast.
When you wake up, do you want to put food in your face straight away?
100%, yeah.
I cannot.
Really?
No, I'm like you were when you were 13. I look at people eating breakfast. I'm like, what are you doing?
Really?
Are you crazy? How can you do that?
Oh, it's like torture to me going out without breakfast.
Oh, whenever I stay with my mum, she's always like, what do you want for breakfast? And I'm just like, nothing, fresh air.
Yeah, really?
Absolutely nothing at all.
Yeah.
And I think it's a personality thing.
And we can train our body. If I just started not having breakfast, eventually I wouldn't wake up hungry for it. My body's, it's like an alarm clock as well. Hunger can be an alarm clock. If you wake up at 8 o'clock every day and you have breakfast by 9 o'clock, if you don't do that, then your stomach's going to say, I'm hungry.
Help me out here.
There's an alarm clock going. You usually eat at this time.
So when you're training your clients, you'll work around this kind of preference. Like if I came to you and said, I don't want to eat breakfast.
I do, but I will also ask the whys, because a lot of people come and they say, well, I don't want to eat breakfast because one, it's just bad habit. Maybe they're rushed in the mornings. And two, maybe they've heard somewhere if they miss breakfast is the best thing to do. So I'd always ask the whys. And I'd try and encourage them to eat steadily through the day. But yeah, I mean, some of my clients fast for periods of time. Usually if I encourage my clients to fast, it's a hormonal thing, or like a stress thing on the body to reduce the stress levels a little bit. But yeah, not for fat loss. You don't need to do it for fat loss. And people say, Amy, shall I intermittent fast for fat loss? And I'm like, you don't have to do that. If you prefer to do that, absolutely. Yeah. If you prefer Slimming World, if you prefer Weight Watchers, if it works for you, it works for you. But then you also need to know that that's going to continue after. Like, there's some sins on some of these diets I don't really know. Then they're not practical for the rest of your life. That I think there was one lady told me on a call yesterday. If you have a banana, it doesn't count for anything. But if you mash the banana up, then it's a sin.
I've heard this. Or it might be the other way around. I can't. But yes, it's
ridiculous.
The same food at the same weight.
Yeah.
In one state, it's the equivalent of saying if the egg is eaten raw.
Yeah.
But if it is scrambled, you've committed a sin. Like what's the problem? You broke up the essential nature of the banana. Absolutely. And that's what makes you fat.
I'm like, what do you do when you eat it? You don't eat a banana.
No, it should sit inside of you. You should just hold the banana and it sits inside of you completely whole. And then you will not get fat.
I will get people say to me, I'll give them eggs on their plan. They'll be like, well, how should I cook them? I'm like, what do you like? Because that's how bad it is out there now.
They're all going in the same place, just so you know. The thing is with like Weight Watchers and Slimming World and everything, I suppose if you're looking to lose scale weight, I do know people who've lost scale weight on that.
Yeah.
But I think you could also say you don't know anybody who ever got up on stage on that.
Oh, yeah. No, you can't.
Not.
Yeah,
that's
the point. Ultimate. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you want your body.
Nobody's ever gotten into exceptional shape.
Yeah.
By doing these. So, I think they're a little bit childish.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything bad about.
No, you don't. I can.
If you want to.
I think they're childish. I think that's treating adults like children. This is a sin. That's not a sin. It's a bit goo goo gaga.
I think they've picked up an insecurity of someone and made money from it, rather than like the facts are like you can eat all these foods that you're saying are sins. Mm-hmm. It's just they're not going to be the best foods for you to eat in high quantity.
Right.
So you can eat as long as the base of your diet is nutritious and you're getting the food you want and you want something a bit naughty, then you can have it.
What's naughty? Tell me a naughty food. This is where the interview gets interesting. What's something naughty? Is it a Greg's sausage roll?
They're the worst.
So before you said calories in, calories out, that's obviously scientifically, literally true.
Yeah.
Is it a good thing to tell clients?
I really try to educate my clients.
Right.
I do. Every week I educate them. I have a group Zoom with them and I literally educate them of what it actually means. Mm-hmm. So I'm not just saying calories in, calories out. Like I'm explaining what that actually means and how that means something different at different stages for different people. One of my girls, she weighed 112 pounds. She's on 3,500 calories. And I've got a 6-foot guy who's on half of that for some periods of time. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how's the girl doing on 3,500 calories? Is she doing well?
Yeah. Oh, she competed last year. She done amazing. She looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's response from your body and you'll never know that. And I think that is the best reason to get a coach because it helps you step out of your comfort zone and really look at how your body's responding and feel comfortable with that. Because I'm sure if she would never eat 3,500 calories without some form of guidance to do it and someone watching over her.
If she's a small, slim girl, no. There's never going to be a planet where she spontaneously says, I'm going to eat 3,500
That was
calories.
her daily. And then she had two free meals off plan a week. So it was more than that across the average week. Yeah.
That's a lot of food.
Yeah.
And she looked great on it.
Oh, she looks phenomenal. Yeah. She needed it because she needed it. She was dropping weight. She was putting it on and stuff. So you can retrain the body. There's ways to retrain the body so she can respond on lesser food. It's all a process. So
the reason I asked about the calories in, calories out thing, obviously something can be theoretically true, but what I found teaching psychology principles is you can say something that's true, but it's almost guaranteed to be reinterpreted in a certain way. And as somebody outside of the fitness industry, I know that when people hear calories in, calories out, what they translate that to is, I can get pissed this weekend, eat cake at the birthday party of my kids on Saturday and run it off.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why wouldn't they think that?
Yeah.
You've just told them
that,
food in, but food out. So they're going to come to these. It's got to be the Zumba class, the spinning class, the triathlon. That's going to be the thing that fixes it.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you
change that?
Yeah, how do you change that?
I got a girl, she joined me a couple of weeks ago and we were on a Zoom together and she's in therapy for eating issues. She's on medication for psoriasis. She's unable to, she has no appetite, all the different signs that she was showing me. And she was talking me through all these different symptoms that she's got. And I was thinking in my head, she was drinking Monster drinks and stuff. I was thinking in my head, like the symptoms she's telling me is she's under stress. Her body's under stress. then she started talking about the exercise and training that she's doing. And she was working like a 12-hour shift. Should I do about 20,000 steps at work? She was getting up in the morning doing 2 or 3 classes and then a class in the evening. Yeah. And I said to her, like, you're stressing, you're not eating, and you're doing all this activity. And like, we need to now, in 2 weeks' time, her psoriasis is clearing up. She's got her appetite back. But I text her daily. She's sleeping better. Her blood sugars, I'm monitoring her blood sugars. That's much more steady. She's dropping weight on the food that I'm giving her. Where she wasn't dropping weight on low food, but she thought that if I do more and eat less,
it'll be better.
It'll be better.
Yeah.
She's getting all these health issues from it. And unfortunately, that's just the information that we're being fed all the time.
Yes. And I think I agree with you. You do need a coach who can give you individualized coaching to your psychology, to your body, to everything.
Yeah.
And there's so many things that we get wrong like that.
Yeah.
Because if you've heard calories in, calories out, and it is a statement that is theoretically and literally true, why wouldn't people just think, I'll just train it off then?
And that's what I used to think. I used to eat low food and go in the gym and feel like crap, to be honest, like just doing cardio. And all my thought process in the gym was, I'm losing weight, I'm burning fat. Now I say to myself, if you go to the gym, don't even think about your weight. You go into the gym to be healthy, to train. You know, that's your time for your health and your well-being. Don't even think about the calories that you're burning when you're in there. It's irrelevant.
Yeah, that I had, that was a very persistent thing that I had for years, and it was hard to let go of.
It's hard, to change that.
I still wear, my mates say that to me. They see me wearing a heart rate strap and they're like, that's not telling you your real calories. I'm like, I'm wearing this because I have an allowance for how much I'm allowed to train, and then I have to go home. Because if I don't, I'll be in here for 2 hours. I don't want to leave. This is to stop me training. This isn't to keep me going. It's like, dude,
to calm you down a bit.
Yes, be an adult. I have to talk to myself. It's time to go home. I'm like a kid, on the swings. Don't want to. It's time to go. Come on, let's go to bed. I don't want more. Just one more. That's why I wear it, to be like, okay, you've had like 450 calories of activity. You've had a nice time. Don't ruin it.
I just get home and want to eat again. I love it.
That's how you motivate yourself to get out of the gym.
I just can't wait for my food.
Let's get the food. I'm terrible for overtraining. Yeah.
Why is that? Well, you just been.
It's a mania. So I go into like a hypermania state.
Yeah.
I really like the mindlessness of the gym.
Really?
Yeah. All of the voices stop screaming.
Yeah.
And I'm high.
Yeah.
I'm just so happy to be there. I just love it.
Sure time. Yeah.
But what happened? I think you saw. We were talking, weren't we? I started to get very big.
Yeah.
Because it was just my lifestyle was like, I go to the gym and smash it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't deliberately smashing it. I just do.
Yeah.
And then I'd be too busy with work to go back. So I would recover. Wasn't doing cardio, wasn't monitoring my diet, ballooned up to like 101 kilograms.
Wow.
Packed with air, my traps like that. And I'm like, I cannot breathe at night. My throat is closing. And the doctor's like, yeah, that's going to happen with your big neck. Like, your neck is too big. So I had to get back into like calorie counting, steps, monitoring my
put it back.
Activity, pull the whole thing back. But it's actually been a couple of years, but it was only about 2 years ago that I stopped thinking about calories in the gym.
Really?
Because I was just like, it's meaningless.
Yeah, and we burn more calories from like just sitting here talking, sitting. Like, the calories, the exercise activity is actually much lower on the list.
Yeah, I was very stubborn with that.
Yeah.
It took me like 15 years of going to the gym before that finally got through my head, which is like, you're better off sleeping.
Yeah.
That's your best calorie burning activity because you're actually restoring and getting your body ready again.
Yeah.
That's where breathing, moving, talking, that's where it's at.
Absolutely. It's a balance of everything. And if you're not eating and fueling your body correctly, it's going to down-regulate and you will burn less. So it's all a balance and it's all an understanding of your own body and try and just educate more than anything.
The other thing that I've had to do for the sleep apnea is go back to doing more cardio.
Really?
Which I like.
Do you?
Back kickboxing. I just like punching the bag.
Yeah.
You see, I have a lot of psychological problems that I deal with in the gym. One of the theories when you listen to people who talk about sleep apnea is you can actually train your throat, your tongue to take in more oxygen. Mm-hmm. So the whole puzzle of dealing with sleep apnea, apart from the weight loss, calories being restricted a little bit, generally becoming more active, is actually doing quite hard cardio to train your capacity to breathe. Yeah,
that's really interesting.
Yeah. So when you got to your late 20s and you're actually you were pushing your calories up, were you solely doing fitness training as a business? Did you drop the beauty business?
No, this. I mean, I was doing it, but it was really lockdown that it kicked off big time.
Really?
Yeah. It was just, it was never my intention. Mm-hmm. It was something I always wanted to do for sure, but I never pushed towards it because I didn't really see it as a business. I just saw it as something that I loved doing and I took an interest in. But yeah, in the back of my mind, I'd always wanted to do something like it. So it's really nice how it's naturally progressed in that way, and naturally through actually helping people. It's grown that way. So then lockdown, it just kicked off. People focused.
So do you still do you still have like a beauty salon?
No, because it's not my thing. Okay. Like it's not like, it was a forced thing for me. Okay. Yeah.
But in 2019 you did.
Yeah.
You did. And then lockdown 2020, you couldn't.
You couldn't. Yeah. So you
jumped online.
Yeah, and then everyone was contacting me. My phone was constantly ringing, and I was like, okay, what is in this? Like, let's see. And I threw myself into it, and it just developed from there. I'm really fortunate that a lot has just come from word of mouth, and I've got clients in all different countries. From an athlete, my oldest client's like 82, my youngest client's school age. It's really nice.
So at any one time, how many clients would you have going in the system?
About 300 was my highest at the biggest. 300? At one point, yeah.
Big flex. Get on that, Andrew Tate. That's 300 clients here, mate. And you enjoy it?
I do, yeah. It's found its feet because I never intended to, so I never set out with a business plan. But yeah, I do enjoy it.
I always think like sometimes the best business plans, the best businesses just grow organically.
Yeah.
Like what I'm doing, it's not planned. I had a different plan. I wanted to teach neurolinguistic programming and hypnosis, but I ended up talking about narcissism.
Yeah, it's right.
It's just, I just went where the market took me.
Yeah.
But so far you are enjoying this.
I love it. Yeah. I do love it. Do you know what I love about it? I love the fact that people start believing in themselves and they make positive change in their life. So it's not just about fitness and diet. It's about the fact that they start taking care of themselves and prioritizing themselves and realizing they're important. And then what happens then is they're taking care of themselves, but there's positive aspects in their relationships, in their jobs, with their better relationship with their kids, because they feel better and happier in themselves. Yeah. And they're not striving to look like the bikini models on Instagram or on the guy's sake, the bodybuilders. They're just becoming a better version of themselves.
That's nice.
Yeah, and that's the part that I love.
That's lovely.
Yeah. So
in terms of marketing, how do you find marketing yourself in the fitness industry?
If I had a choice, I wouldn't be on social media. Do you know one thing, right? It's really important to me as a woman not to be seen for my knowledge. I think, especially because I coach both genders, I don't want a guy to come to my page or a female to come to my page and just see a body picture. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And if you've trained hard and you've worked hard and you really motivate people, that does. I think it's amazing. The things that I see online are incredible. But for me, I really want to be respected for the knowledge I have. That's just something for me. And I think as a female, that's difficult.
Why is it difficult as a female?
I suppose women are sexualized in a big way. But we also do that to ourselves. So
talk to me about that. It's a double bind, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so You are sexualized. How can you not sexualize yourself? It's a question with no answer. I know it's a terrible question.
I heard something once, and it said when a woman's looked at and she's wearing clothes, she's looked at as as a human.
Really? Not by me. I'm terribly sexist, I'm afraid. A human? Oh, go on. Yeah, this is interesting. I have something to learn. Yeah.
So someone like with emotions and all that, and respected in that way. As soon as you remove clothes from a female, talking from a guy's perspective, it's that respect level can be taken away, or it's just seen in a different light.
Yes, I'm just going through in my head now. Clothed, a person. Naked, an object of desire. An object. If she's lucky. If she's graced with that privilege. Yes, as a man, your priorities. If you find the woman attractive, yes, you're thinking differently.
You think different, right? Yeah.
Is it wrong to objectify people?
Coming from a different angle, I don't think it's wrong for women. I don't think there's anything wrong with women putting photos of themselves and they look incredible and they've worked hard, and that in turn does objectify in some people's eyes.
So I've been thinking about this for a long time.
I bet you have.
Every day. I have to stop myself thinking about it. Come on, think about work. Stop this nonsense. You're an adult. So obviously I have female friends, female family members. I have a sister, and I don't like to be hypocritical.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy that. So I'm always like, objectification, that's bad. When is it not bad? And you might think, well, you should always see the person as a human being. You should never see them as an object. But I'd claim that like when you are engaged in the act of sexual congress, you're in an altered state of consciousness. Yeah. And it kind of requires that you objectify the person. Yeah. It's almost part of the process.
And I suppose when we've if you look at like OnlyFans and stuff like that, that's their intention behind it anyway, to the females that she's not caring about, that she's there to sell her body and she can make some money.
As an object.
As an object,
as a consumable product.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so we do it to each other. Women do it to men sometimes as well. It happens if you're lucky.
Yeah.
So like people will say to me, don't you find, doesn't it offend you that this happens? And I'm like, no, no, it doesn't offend me.
What, in the females?
Yeah, if a woman objectifies me, I'm like, well, first of all, I don't care. Yeah. I'm not sensitive about it. And then the next thing would be, well, that could be welcome.
Yeah.
And that's a necessary step. Sometimes if there is sexual attraction between two people, that's necessary.
Yeah.
You can't be like, oh, I really respect you and the work. Nobody thinks that if they're about to have a fucking orgasm. That's not what's in your mind. Yeah. You're in an altered state of consciousness.
Yeah.
So then you're on a sliding scale. But then I think there's another way of using the term objectify, which is a bit looser, which is where you just at all times, regardless of context, don't see somebody of a gender as a person.
Yeah.
You're just like, that's not a person.
Yeah.
That's only a sex object. That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a big problem.
Yeah.
Because you've now dehumanized the person. So it's important to you to be seen for your knowledge. Is that why with Instagram, you mainly have pictures, you overwhelmingly, proportionately have more pictures of your clients than you do of yourself?
Yeah, I do, yeah. A lot of people say that maybe I shouldn't do that. I suppose it shows my personality more. But yeah, my purpose is for other people, not to put myself on there for likes. But then at social media world is that, isn't it? So
I don't know, because your business model is working.
Yeah.
And so I teach business coaching sometimes, and I looked at your Instagram profile and I'm like, this is not what I've been telling people to do.
Really?
But then again, what I see there is a lot of your clients, when they're working out, you repost their stories of them working out, you repost their progress pictures. And then in terms of your client acquisition, as I'm going into your funnel for sales, I'm seeing people who are doing what I want to do.
Really?
Potentially. Yeah. So I'm trying to look at it empathically as a member, as a potential client.
Yeah.
Because obviously there's a number of people who come and see you, and then you convert a certain amount of them. They actually become a sale. Yeah. Hopefully it's more than 1%.
Yeah.
Which is a good rate. And maybe they're looking and they're going, no, I want to be part of this community.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a different drive to saying, hi, I'm Amy and I'm fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
And you should listen to me because I'm the best at this. Look at my abs. Which is fine.
Yeah.
And it does establish authority. And what you're doing is you're more it's less vertical and more horizontal. And you're like, look at the amazing work I've got people doing. And it might appeal to maybe different personalities it will appeal to, but it's working for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you do, I mean, I've done photo shoots before. I don't have them on my Instagram, but I have at some point had certain things. And
you objectified yourself.
I objectified myself.
Feminists furious with you. Furious. How could you?
Yeah.
You've betrayed the sisterhood.
Exactly. Yeah, honestly, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, and I would get messages from girls, I want to look like you. And that is so lovely. Like, that's amazing. Especially when I'm sitting at home in my pajamas at the time. And I'm like,
eating a Greg sausage
not
roll.
look like that right now. Yeah.
With the crumbs on your pajamas. You want to look like me, love? No problem.
Yeah.
So you feel good about the photo shoots?
Yeah, it was lovely. I don't regret them. They're lovely. I think, we're going to change for our life, aren't we? So you should get stuff like that done. But then at the same time, I was inspiring some women maybe. Yeah. Maybe other women were like, well, I'd get comments saying, well, I'm never going to look like that.
What is this defeatism? How could they possibly know that?
Everyone's different. And then you'd obviously get other unwanted messages that you don't want as well. So,
babes.
Yeah.
You look bossy. Is that oil you've got on you? Lovely. Did you get more of that when you post that type of pictures? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Would I think every female gets messages, right? But now, like, if I get
say that, there's girls out there going, do they? Not me. So you were getting a certain type.
Yeah. And then I can't really say anything. Like, now I can. Like, I got a message this week and someone was disrespectful, and I can say something because I don't post but that, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with anyone posting. I just don't want that.
No, it's different. Your page is different. There's a lot of girls who are doing similar jobs to you in the fitness industry, and 99% of their posts are them.
Yeah.
And how good they look. And I think their assumption is that that what people are going to respond to. And I think, so coaches can get frustrated with their clients being rigidly stuck to their beliefs. Because I say to my mates who are fitness coaches, you're not really a fitness coach. You're more of a life coach. Yeah. It's tons of psychology. You have to wrest your clients' beliefs from them and give them new beliefs. That's hard.
100%.
It's really
absolutely,
hard.
Yeah.
And
it's a mental game, not a physical.
It's a mental game. They probably largely know what they need to do. So then it's motivation as well.
It is everything, yeah.
Which is, again, psychology.
Yeah.
So all of you fitness coaches, whether you like it or not, it's psychology. You're a psychologist.
Yeah.
In the same way, like some of the fitness coaches are stuck on that belief, I must post pictures of myself looking amazing and then everyone will want to look like me.
Yeah.
And I think that's wrong.
Do you?
It puts me off.
Does it?
As a man.
That's interesting,
As a man, I'm not staring at pictures of oily men's pecs going, I want to look just like you, babe. No, I'm not doing that. It doesn't do anything for me. It does for some guys. I've got friends who, if you usually guys who are really into bodybuilding or physique, they're looking a lot at pictures of men. Yeah. And they still claim they're not gay.
Yeah.
But how could they? When all they're doing is looking at, because they're learning the aesthetics of the competition. Yeah. Because ultimately they want to be in a game where men stare at you and they look at the size of your delts and your quads. Yeah. And how your waist to back, I don't know, whatever ratio. And they need to know the rules of that game. In the same way, if I want to do MMA, I need to know it inside out.
Yeah.
And I have to watch matches and I have to break down the strategy. I get that. Just for me personally, it doesn't do anything. But if I saw people making the kind of gains that I wanted to make, I would appreciate both. I want to know that my coach can do the do.
Yeah.
But I also want to see that he's motivating people to do it as well.
Yeah, exactly that.
A bit more of a community-based strategy.
It's about you, right? Like if you go to someone, you want it in our lives. So we go to work, we're at home, or whatever. Very little is actually about us. So I want my clients to feel like this is my space. This is about me. When I have a conversation, it's all about me. And I'm happy to give them that.
So you're making it about the client.
Absolutely, because it's not about me, it's about them.
So we can do narcissism-driven marketing, boys and girls, or we can do empathy-based marketing. Yeah. There's something to learn here.
Yeah.
So you're making it about the potential client.
Absolutely. I mean, going back to what we were saying about like objectifying and talking, I'm coaching. We were having a conversation earlier about Kieran, who's 5th in the world at High Rocks and 1st in Britain. If he come onto my page and it was all about me and it was all the pictures of me, he's not going to put his trust in me to help him get the best nutrition, the best performance.
That's more of a narcissistic endeavor, isn't it? Look at Amy. Amy's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Good for you.
Yeah.
Whereas you're saying this is what I can do for you.
Yeah, because that's what it's for, right? It's about that. So,
how did you figure that out?
Just over time of dealing with people, like it's never really been a conscious thing. It's kind of just fell that way. I feel uncomfortable on Instagram, like myself. Like there's so much more I can do for marketing that I need to push forward with because Instagram works a certain way. So I am aware that, and that's exciting because it's something new for me, but it's not something natural to me.
Banging on about how great you are.
Yeah.
See, I do it every day, mate. No problem at all.
To teach me.
Just an arrogant fucker.
Oh yeah, just flipping a year.
No, it's a different game. But what you're saying is actually the essence of really, really good marketing. And they have the other thing that you can learn from Americans, apart from shooting people, is marketing.
Really,
they're the best in the world.
Yeah, I definitely need to think that side more.
Sales and marketing. You just go to America. It's a very mercantile culture. It's a very consumerist culture. They love to be marketed to.
Really?
Americans love to be sold to. Just do a good job. They fucking love being sold to. It's a normal part of American culture, and I love that.
Yeah.
It's a very red-blooded, healthy approach to capitalism and services that they have. So all of my marketing I just took from Americans. Wouldn't listen to any Brits. Never have. Rigidly dogmatic.
What key points did you take from?
I will give you one now, which you have come across yourself. What's in it for? There's this thing they do. It's what's in it for me. They have this acronym with him. And when you're doing sales copy, you are supposed to tape it to the top of the laptop.
Yeah.
And it's the acronym is what's in it for me. So your potential client, when they come to your page, they come to your video, they come to anything, the only thing they care about is what's in it for me.
Yeah.
So our marketing is an exercise in narcissism to the degree that we have to be able to stack the benefits of working with Amy. I have to be able to stack the benefits of working with Richard or listening to Richard or buying Richard's courses. That's the narcissism side. But if you're just doing narcissism, you will fail.
Yeah.
You'll fail. All this idea of like being a wolf and being really, really aggressive in sales and marketing is shite.
Really?
It's an exercise in empathy.
That's interesting.
It's massively about empathy. I have to go, and I do this in my marketing protocols, because I was trained to by the Americans. Since 2001, I was very, very lucky with access to high-ranking American marketeers. I enter the conversation my client is already having in their head, and I re-explain their problem back to themselves better than they can. Wow. So if you ever watched the video of mine and went, fucking hell, that's what happened to me.
All the time, yeah.
That was deliberate. That's a deliberate effort on my part. So it's not just good. It's actually not just good marketing practice. It's actually good therapy practice. So I would be like, well, okay, what happened to me? and how did I feel, and what was my level of confusion? What happened to my clients? What was the feedback I gave? I amalgamate that, and then I create a narrative that explains what's happening to you, so that when you hear it, you get an endorphin release and go, that's what it is.
Wow, that's really, it's
really
marketing.
Good way. It's marketing and therapy, but it's empathy based.
Yeah.
So you've done the right thing.
Yeah.
If you're going to do a marketing drive, just refine it. So the client is saying, what's in this for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, they care that Amy Harris is skilled. They'll never ask for your qualifications. They'll never ask for how long you've been in the industry. Nobody gives a shit.
No.
Only your competitors do this.
Yeah.
It's like a penis comparison. You know, how many qualifications have you got? Who have you trained with?
Yeah.
Your clients don't give a shit.
No, they don't.
Couldn't care less.
No.
How are you going to make me look good in Ibiza this summer?
Absolutely.
It's about me.
Yeah.
And it's only about you to the degree that you're going to help me. It's the same for me with narcissism clients. They want to live. They really just want to get on with their lives. It's only about me to the exact extent that I convince them that I'm the guy that can lead them out of hell.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I don't give it. Nobody asks me. So the only people who ever say to me, what are your qualifications, are people who hate me. None of the people who like me say
They're looking for something.
They're looking for something. Do you have a master's in psychology?
Yeah.
Nope. Do you have any qualification? I have a degree in psychology, and none of my degree has got anything to do with anything. Because I did a degree in behavioral psychology, and I'm very open with people.
Yeah.
I have a degree in psychology, but it's fucking useless.
Yeah.
It's self-taught. Everything and I just say that to them. And the people who are into what I'm doing, they go, well, you didn't ask.
Who cares?
Who cares? I'm in pain. Can you make me better?
100, yeah. And yeah, exactly that. And I suppose it's the same. Say you go to a doctor, they say they've got all the same qualifications, some more than others. You don't care what qualifications they've got. Who is going to help me?
Yeah.
Who cares enough to help me and pay attention? Because sometimes someone can have all the knowledge in the world, but if they don't care enough, they're going to send you out without the correct information or not listening enough. Someone who cares, they might not have all the qualifications in the world, but they will take their time to find out what's best for you.
Yes, and that's where another point in the empathy list is care becomes trumps qualification.
Yeah.
Because what matters actually is you have qualifications and they're meaningful, sure, but competency.
Yeah.
If I'm a very qualified but not very good brain surgeon, are you happy for me to operate on your child? No.
Yeah.
You want the competent and not so qualified person, the most competent person.
100%.
And competence often exceeds qualifications.
Yeah.
And qualifications often exceed competence. You probably can name examples. I won't ask you to. But in the fitness industry of people who've competed, they've trained with this person, that one, the other one. They themselves are very good.
Yeah.
But they are shit coaches because they can't communicate any of it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
They isolate their clients. They alienate them. They talk down to them. They put them off. With marketing, it's entering the client's subjective experience, finding out where their pain is. So for your clients, it will be, I've tried diets and I'm sick of being overweight, or I'm trying to compete, or whatever it is. And then you provide the solution.
Absolutely. I had a message, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, from a lady in America, and she's got a coach. She put on a couple of pounds. I've been sticking to the plan. And he really laid into me about it because I said, it's not Christmas time anymore. You shouldn't be putting on weight. I spoke to her a bit more, and she's going through the menopause. And that's a really difficult time in itself. You don't need someone laying into you because you gained a pound or two.
No.
And then it becomes about the coach.
Yeah.
And even if she had eaten off plan, you still making it about you by trying to get her to be 100%.
Well, isn't her eating off plan part of the plan? Don't you? I mean, you allow for plan deviation, right? You have contingencies for that.
Absolutely. And also, you're going to do that in everyday life. You've got to just learn what's better for you over a period of time. It's not about getting a picture on Instagram for your own clients' results. And that's what a lot of people focus on.
I was just thinking, if I said to somebody, you have to do emotional literacy and you have to do it every day, and then one day they didn't, and because of that, they became depressed, would I lay into well, why didn't you do your emotional literacy? Well, the kids were sick and one of them needed taken to a swimming class. That's not good enough. I feel really depressed now. Well, now feel depressed and ashamed at the same time because I'm yelling at you. It's no good.
It's not the way, is it?
Of course, they're not going to do it every day. Who's going to? It's just people.
And then you're going to hide if you have something off plan, or start making up that your weight's dropped.
Yes. You just to please the coach.
Yeah.
Just become a people pleaser.
Yeah.
Was the coach younger?
No, I don't think so. I don't know. It's a male coach.
But maybe doesn't know what happens with weight fluctuation around.
No, I just think they just care about client results. Like, it's very pushed, very marketed, very I'm a big name.
Yeah. So much more on the narcissism side of the marketing model than the empathy side of the marketing model.
Absolutely, yeah. They've got really big clients, and she's a lady who's in her 50s, who wants to diet. She's going through the menopause, not feeling great in herself. Probably not the most ideal coach for her. Nothing wrong with that coach. Someone who's training in WBFF and wants to be the top.
Sounds like a bit of a twat to me. Sorry, I said that. Amy didn't say it. Just because she sat next to me doesn't mean it's her statement. I'm the bad guy because I don't care. That age group that you're talking about is very similar to the age group that I deal with. And usually the opposite methodology is the one that works.
Really?
Oh, well, I would be saying to her, it's okay. Because if she goes into a shame spiral.
They don't expect it, yeah.
If she goes into a shame spiral, then she's going to keep doing more of the coping mechanism. I would see it from the psychological point of view.
The coffee shapes, yeah.
If she starts shaming herself and feeling guilty, it's going to be worse. She's going to reach for more food to deal with the feelings of guilt and shame.
Absolutely.
So I just laugh and I just be like, oh, that's okay. It's the consistency of action across time that's going to count. It doesn't matter if you went up a little bit or down a little bit.
Well, you're going to encourage them more by being kind to them, by being kind to clients and saying, it's okay, I understand. You'll give them that safe space to fail a little bit, to then find themselves in a better position. But if you just we shame ourselves enough. Do you know, if we do something wrong, we tell ourselves we failed.
Yeah.
So someone else is doing it.
Add to the shame of my client.
Yeah.
They're doing a perfectly good job of torturing themselves. and unless I'm taking the piss out of them, I'm going to be like, so you didn't do what I told you to do. I think that you should feel very bad.
Yeah.
Because you are bad. And that's what they always do. They always laugh. And I'm like, I don't know why you're laughing. You're very bad.
Like being told off in school.
You're just bad. Are you ashamed? And it's like, it is like being told off in school.
Yeah.
But then if you do it in a humorous way, it wakes them out of that sleeping state of like, oh, I fucked up and I didn't do my homework and now I'm being told off by the headmaster. No, you're an adult and I'm an adult. And you're hiring me. Yeah. You're my boss.
Yeah.
Like if you the other thing I'll say to people is like, if you want to feel really bad, if you pay me extra, I'll scream at you. It's a service I offer. Yeah. We can make you feel absolutely awful if you want to. And it's just to remind people, like, it doesn't matter. Life is short. You'll be okay.
But some people do need a different approach, though. Do you find that? Like, some people need that hard, come on, like, just get on with it now. Like, you need to do this for yourself.
Well, I mean, in the realm of psychology, when you're dealing with traumatized people, very, very rarely.
Yeah.
So I have a course for people who want that more of a military-style drill instructor. It's called The Discipline.
Okay.
So it's right there on the tin. You're going to get spanked. And some people love it. They really, really love it. But across the board, I've never really gone hard with a person and said, you just have to do this. What I'll say to them is, here is the plan. Yeah. I've developed it like this because we're reconditioning your neural pathways. If you follow the plan across time, these are the results you're going to get. If you add to the plan or subtract the plan or change the plan, I don't know what's going to happen to you, mate. Yeah. Because I didn't design it that way. I designed it this way. If you need to take 3 months longer, take 3 months longer. If you need to take 3 years longer, fine. Like take 3 years longer. This is the plan. Please do stick to the plan. Yelling at people, I don't know. I would like to. I'd get a lot of pleasure from it. But I don't because they just look like, usually if I speak to people on lives or on chats, you know, when you deal with trauma victims, they just look sad.
Yeah,
it'd be like, the last thing they need. Shouting at a puppy or something.
Yeah.
People, I just spoke to a guy, I don't do coaching anymore, but I just spoke to a guy the other day. He's ex-special forces. He's a doctor. He's a physician. He doesn't need a drill instructor. He doesn't need me to yell at him. He needs he's doing that to himself.
Yeah.
He's like, you failed. He's American. You fucked up, soldier. You fucked up. I can see the drill instructor inside of his head. Really? I'm not adding to that noise. I was just like, wow. So like, philosophically speaking, you and I as two people, like, what do we make of this? So I'm not sitting across from you, yelling at you. I sit next to you. And then we look at the problem together with a sense of humor and be like, wow, why are we doing it like this? That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe we could do something else. That's you're probably doing that instinctively when you're talking to people.
Yeah, I think it's because, like the same, it's the care element, isn't it? We're all human. Why do we have to pretend as humans that we're perfect or like feel the need to be?
Honest. I've got odd socks on right now. I didn't leave quite enough time to get. My mum made a Christmas cake for my auntie. My auntie lives around the corner, and they had to pick you up. And I haven't unpacked my suitcases, and I put odd socks on.
Like obvious odd socks, one black,
they're
one
both
white.
Adidas. I kept it brand consistent, but these have got the 3-stripe, the Slavic 3-stripe. These are from Russia, and these are American ones. So yeah, I've got Russia and America on 1 foot each. No, and really, I don't think nobody in the world really expects that from you.
No,
they don't.
Who are you to tell someone to be perfect when you're not perfect yourself? I think,
it's a weird, inhumane's not right. The non-human ideal to aspire to is perfection. Nobody's perfect. Who wants to deal with a perfect person? How boring.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It's
when all the good stuff is in the imperfection.
It is,
all the interesting stuff is in the imperfection.
Yeah.
And that's, it's one of these things, you know, when talking to fitness coaches and they're stubbornly clinging to some beliefs, they think they have to be perfect. Nobody's who told you that?
Yeah.
Nobody asked you to be perfect.
Yeah.
Just be you.
Yeah.
Be a human being.
Try to be the best version of you can be. And be better each time. Do you know what I mean? If you mess up, you mess up. Be better next time.
Yeah, it's fine.
Do you think social media has a big influence on that? Because none of us, we all go post the perfect pictures of ourselves, airbrush pictures, and put all our positive things out there. And like, if we actually went on there and put all our shit out to the world, it'd be very different.
Well, I mean, it depends on how you're using social media, I suppose. Like, I'm always more than happy to tell my followers I'm in therapy. Or if I've had a problem with my own emotional states, I'll tell them.
Yeah.
And then usually the feedback is like, it's pretty positive.
Yeah.
So social media, yes, I suppose it pushes people to think that there's a generalization. I think there's a lot of like, I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
And I find myself challenging that with people. I'm like, who told you that?
Yeah, it's true.
Who fucking told you that? There's actually a really interesting conversation about social media that Louis C.K., do you know the stand-up comic Louis C.K.?
Maybe by face.
Yeah, by face, you'd know him. And he was in a conversation with young podcasters and they're like, we have to upload content 5 times a day to please the algorithm.
Yeah.
And Louis C.K. is like a 55-year-old stand-up comedian who's like, no, you fucking don't.
Really?
You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't please the algorithm. Just do it your way.
Yeah.
Because if we're all, I think oh, there's Louis C.K. Look at him, handsome fellow Louis. If we all follow the algorithm, you're going to get this homogenization effect. And I think you already have it with fitness coaches.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course.
And that's where you're standing out.
Yeah. Thanks.
Your problem is visibility.
Yeah.
Not enough people are seeing you, but if they do see your page, then they'll stick around.
Yeah.
Because it's not, I don't know, like, so what I see in the fitness space, especially with female fitness coaches, I think they copy each other's posts.
Yeah.
And they copy each other's poses.
Yeah.
And then there's some stupid inspirational quote underneath that.
Yeah.
That nobody's buying. Like nobody, like who you fucking think you're kidding?
It's true. But then at the same time, I kind of get it. Like it makes you feel like I need to be a certain way and I need to post a certain way. And we kind of create a false ideal of ourselves online.
That's all, not to drift off too far in psychoanalytic theory, that's all superego injunction.
Yeah.
So when you say, I have to post a perfect image of myself, that's you to you.
Yeah.
We're back to this thing of it's non-empathic. You're not being kind to you.
Yeah.
And you're not being empathic to your followers.
It's very hard not to do that. I can't speak for a guy. I can only speak for a woman. It's hard not to do that as a woman.
Why?
Because we're always judged on how we look.
Yes.
Like always. So to be imperfect and to post imperfections is going against what we're we're seen and supposed been taught over a period of time.
Yes.
And then you're competing against other women who do make themselves look perfect.
Yes.
So yeah, it is kind of like a safety barrier. That's why we have filters and all of that, because it makes you feel better.
I think you're punished more as women for rebellion.
100%, yeah.
More than men.
Yeah.
If I rebel, look at Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
That's pure rebellion.
Women are told to be quiet.
Yeah. And men are like, that's fucking cool. When women step out of line, well, this is what hen pecking is called. Hens are female chickens. They peck. They create a pecking order and they hen peck. That's female chimps do this. Female chimp behavior is not policed by male chimps. It's policed by older female chimps.
Really?
So they become very sneaky sexually when they want to engage in, if it's not, because they have in troops, they have mandated sexual contact.
Yeah.
You can. But then if she's like, well, I like the other one over there, they have to sneak away behind a rock and do it. Because if the females see her, they beat her. Wow. Not the males. So I think men will punish you for nonconformity as well.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm not saying that. But I think it's genetic. I think it's biological. And I would see this in school. When I used to work in schools. Yeah, I did 5 years in schools. And I would say to them, like, I want you to, because they're kids, they're teenagers, they want to be cool, they want you to see them.
Yeah.
So it'd be like, okay, so make a name tag and say your name, your favorite things you like to do, and your favorite groups. Because they want to tell you what music they're into, because that's really important when you're a teenager. And what I noticed over 5 years, and I was literally in front of thousands of students in hundreds of schools, the girls, there'd be like, in a group of 40, there'd be 6 or 7 girls who would click together and they'd sit near the front. And when the alpha female of group created her name card in the colors and the styling, because you could do it however you wanted, they all copied that.
Yeah. You see it so much in schools, and
they conform.
And women just have this, and it is built into us over a period of time, that we're just competing all the time with each other. And I think women are really powerful. And I think we lose our own power by doing that. Like if we all pull together, like there's bro code, isn't there? There's brotherhood. Even guys women don't have that. And it is really sad to see it. And really and truly, before I'd done my coaching, I was friends with a lot more guys than females because of that. Because if I'd go into the office, like, people talk and, that it just something that never just felt right. It just, and I never got on with women for that reason.
It's because you're fit. Isn't it? It's because she's fit. They were like, she's a threat. Smile at her face and stab her in the back when she leaves the room. Why?
So it's a compliment fit all this time. I was like, thanks.
You said I was pretty. Thank you. But it is a problem.
Yeah, so it is. And then if you're nice as well, they don't like you more because you're nice. Then they fight. It's fake.
Bitch. She can't be that fit and be nice. Fuck that bitch. Don't invite her to the whatever women do thing. The witch's coven. It's not a problem for me being fit. Men don't care.
You men cheer each other. Men compliment each other.
Yeah, you're fit. You are. Yeah. No, thanks, mate.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, you've got nice pecs. It's great. It's great being a man. With men, it's fantastic. Always touching my mates up. I touched Tyler up today because he's got big calves. So I was like, look at your calves.
Did you?
Yeah, it's fine. You could do that.
Yeah.
And you know what? Instead of recoiling and going, don't touch me, he flexed his calf so I could really feel. He was like, thanks, mate. Flexed it up. I was like, whoa. No, it's different.
It is. I mean, and it's not all everywhere. There's in my community of women, they're incredible, and it's a lovely place to be.
Well, you've broken that boundary with them.
I hope so. Even now I get nervous about it because for my whole life I've experienced different energy from females.
I would say with confidence, I'd assert that what I can see is that you've broken a certain boundary with them. They're really into new territory. For themselves as well.
Oh, that's nice.
Which is nice. Which is probably what keeps them coming back, is that it's a new experience for them. But to do that, you've probably had to work quite hard to break that boundary.
Yeah, you come across different characters and situations, don't you? But yeah, I suppose it's empowering people. And when someone feels empowered and they're looking out for themselves, they're doing something positive for themselves, then they feel better about everything else. But then at the same time, my clients that do that then might get stick from people at work or family members that aren't doing that, and then get criticized for doing something positive for themselves.
Yes, so. So you don't get bullied. You just cause other people to get bullied.
Yeah.
Well done. Now you fuckers deal with it and fucking pay me. I'm hoping some of this is usable as reels for your marketing campaign. What's your vision for the business over the next 10 years?
10 years is a long time.
Comes around fast.
I think my biggest hope because I always look at stuff, maybe not for myself from a business standpoint, but I just hope to reach more people and just really, I see a lot of females kind of disappear as they get older. They get married or have kids, or they go through menopause, or they just go through work life and just life gets the better of them and they forget themselves. And they disappear into the shadows, or and I just would love more females, but men as well, but obviously I coach more females, to really believe in themselves and become their best self and take care of themselves and prioritize themselves and feel attractive. Just because they may be getting a bit older, they shouldn't just disappear. They should shine.
What does it mean when you say that women disappear?
I think society's told women as they get older that they become less. Which isn't the case. You're just as valuable as you get older. And I think obviously you go through life, you know so much more.
It's interesting you say that. There's a friend of mine, we speak a lot, Amanda. She educated me a lot about psychotherapy as I was coming up, doing narcissism. And I spoke to her a couple of weeks ago. And she's moved away from psychotherapy. She does a lot more spirituality. Yeah. She's very interested. She's a feminist.
Really?
But she's not crazy. And she doesn't mind me making disgusting jokes about big cocks. She's a Scouser, so she's fine with all that. She's like, oh, Richie. I'll get her on. She's really cool. And she said that she's found across the board, she lives in Glastonbury, when she's coaching to do with the sacred feminine, it's women, across the board, across the age groups, there's an obsession with being a nymph. So archetypally, a nymph, like Narcissus and Echo is a nymph, which is a sexy young object, really. It's like a sexy little creature that hangs out in the forest that the gods would come and get in trouble with the goddesses because they were off shagging in the forest with the nymphs. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And she's talking to me about that. And I said to her, what about another archetype, which is the wise witch who lives in the forest with the experience? She's like, yeah, none of them want that. Yeah. Nobody wants that. And I'm like, but that's what we used to have. Yeah. Obviously, you would have the wicked witch, which would be that, the wise crone, ill aspected. But then what about the wise woman that you go to for healing, that you go to for wisdom, that you go to for life advice? That's gone. And I think it's not just with women, it's with men as well. We don't, in this culture, we don't value wisdom. No. Don't value age. We don't value experience. Fight against it. It's all youth. Yeah. And youth is great. Yeah. High energy is great, but it's dumb. Yeah. It's really dumb. You are young and therefore dumb. No, you're not. Not you. Everyone else, but not you. You're smart. And Jacob also wise and smart. But I was stupid when I was a kid. You're high energy, you're low impulse, you're dumb, right? Yeah. But that's like fine, isn't it? Like you can laugh at yourself and like, you made dumb decisions. But it's a phase. Yeah. And then you should let it go. Yeah, absolutely. You do have to move. We do have to transcend that. Yeah. And it's difficult being in a culture where, not always, I think in academia, it's still respected, but in our culture generally, yes, people do disappear. That's why I asked you about disappear. Because I was like, yes, it does seem to happen, and people feel irrelevant. Irrelevant, yeah. You'll hear women say it. Like, you know why? Because they'll walk in a room, maybe get used to being
seen, get attention usually from men, and then they'll walk in a room one day and maybe get less, but that's what they base their value and worth on, so it's that shouldn't be the case. There's so much more, and you should still walk in the room with your head held high, and wear clothes you love, and look after yourself and be your best self, because gosh, so many women are absolutely stunning in their 40s, 50s, 60s and upwards. And I think energy is such a great thing. You can have someone in their 20s that someone in their 40s might be more youthful in their energy. You just see it.
Some women do get more attractive across time. I think like Rachel Weisz, Daniel Craig's wife, like if you look when she was younger and she got roles, she was a pretty young girl in a role.
Yeah.
Now she's a gangster in some of the roles. She doesn't give a fuck. She's acting out of her socks.
Yeah.
She did a movie, which I recommend people get, have a look at, called The Favourite. And she's so cool. She's like the coolest character in this movie.
That's what it needs to be, just gangsters.
Yeah. She's Rachel Weisz in The Favourite is the archetype for that kind of thing. Rachel Connolly got hotter. Monica Bellucci, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's something to do. I think if you're still feeling yourself, it's kind of a thing. If you're not feeling yourself, that's really tough.
Yeah. And then I suppose with women, it's the hormonal thing as well. They go through all that kind of stuff that changes. But I think you have to take care of yourself and do stuff for yourself and prioritize yourself to feel yourself. How are you going to feel yourself when you wake up? All you do, the first thing you do, run the kids to school, go to work, come home, cook dinner, go to bed, repeat. Where do you fit into that equation?
So that was the other element of disappear that I was going to come to. Is there something to do with serving the needs of others that
Absolutely,
makes people disappear?
That's one thing with women that I work with, to teach them to not be so selfless. Like they just need to learn to prioritize themselves. Like that they would rather think the housework's done, the dinner's cooked, everyone else is happy, than but I don't have time to do anything for me.
I see from the other side of the gender divide, I see that with women. I have a lot of female clients. I see it with men as well.
Yeah.
Like when I go into the gym, there's guys who are my age and even younger than me, and they've disappeared.
Really?
Yeah. Because they don't have time. They don't have the resources. They've got the kids, they've got their mortgage, they've got the job, they've got the responsibilities, and they've gone.
They just become like, I can see that with guys as well. I suppose they walk through their front door, they pay all the bills, but they're probably not seen half the time.
Not really. But if they were training with you, they'd be fit as fuck.
Absolutely.
They'd look like me. I'm horrible. Absolutely. I don't know if this podcast is going to do you any good whatsoever, but I hope it does. So you're going to, for the next 10 years, you're going to continue on with this, and you want to make sure that women and men as well, if they want to work with you, they feel seen.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't really have a 10-year goal in that aspect. I don't imagine I'll be doing the same thing in 10 years, but I think what I'm doing will lead me on to more. Because to me, getting people fit, getting their personal best, that excites me so much. But it's the change in people that I like to see. It's the psychological stuff that I really like.
That's what you enjoy.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming on.
It's a pleasure.
I've enjoyed this conversation with you. If people want to find you, where's the best place to find you?
Instagram's probably the best place.
And what's your name on Instagram?
So obviously my Instagram didn't start as a business, so it's but everyone knows me as it now. It's Fury, which is my nan's maiden name. It means flower. It's Fury _AC, FIORI _AC.
Do you have Italian in you?
Yeah, my mum's side's Italian.
Your mum's side's Italian?
Yeah.
You're half Italian?
A little bit less than half.
A little bit less than half. So Fury,
yeah.
Fury.ac.
_AC.
That can be changed.
Everyone tags me in it. I think about changing it all the time. I'm like
but you are, we're connected for people who want to look you up. We're connected on Instagram. You'll see, if you see who I'm following, and if you put the name in, Amy Harris. That also will come up. Otherwise, Fury_AC.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What's AC stand for?
Just my initials.
Okay. What's your middle name?
Clara.
You're Amy Clara Harris.
Yeah.
That's a very nice name.
Thank you.
Would you like to know my middle name?
Yeah, what's your middle name?
Vincenzo.
Is it?
I'm Vincent, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and in my family, all the men go by their second name.
Yeah.
Except me.
Where did your middle name come from?
That's my grandfather's name. So I have my grandpa Vin, who's actually Charles Vincent, but everybody called him Vincent.
Yeah.
And then my Richard comes from another Grandpa Dick.
Nice.
Yeah. Not a lot of people know that Dick is a short form for Richard, but yes, it is. It was used back in the day. People don't use it as much now. I don't know why. I don't know why people don't want to be called Dick anymore. But thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate it. And I hope that people who want to make a real change do sign up with you, because I've seen you've really, really helped some people.
Thank you. Yeah, I do.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Cheers. Ladies and gents, thank you very much for your time and for your attention. And I look forward to seeing you again next time. Thank you.